couper le son par contre parce que sinon ça va le faire.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt, the marketing manager for Dead Cells, and we're here today to discuss the upcoming board game, which has a Kickstarter campaign at the minute, which is fully funded but still open for backers. So I'm here with our partner from Masqué, Manuel.
Salut, hi.
And we're just going to be running through some basic FAQs ourselves, talking about the game, how it works, what's available for Kickstarter backers, and then afterwards we're going to do a little Q&A section with the people in chat to answer any questions which you haven't already covered. So I guess we should just get straight into it. So Manuel, who are Scorpion Masqué, or the Mask Scorpion in English?
It's Scorpion Masqué. Even in English, we didn't change our logo. So sorry. Yeah, Scorpion Masqué is a publisher based in Montreal, in Quebec. It's been founded in 2006 by Christian Lemay, and we started. He started with very simple games, card games. Essentially, and Scorpion Masqué grew up, and now we have more than 45 games published in more than 40 different countries. It's the first time we are on Kickstarter. Usually we are a regular publisher, meaning you can find our games in shops, on regular board game shops. Maybe our most known games are Decrypto, Turing Machine now.
Yeah, I know that
one. It's a huge success. We released it at the end of last year. And Zombie Kids and Zombie Teens, that are game for kids, evolutionary games for kids.
Okay, cool. And out of those teams, who's been working on the Dead Cells game from those projects?
What?
The people who've worked on those other games, who's been working on the Dead Cells board game?
Oh, it's a big team. We have people here. We are our Scorpion Masqué team, and of course the designers. So Antoine Boza, Corentin Lebras, Théo Rivière, and Ludovic Maublanc, who joined us as designers on the board game. and of course all the illustrators, artists. Nayad for the cover and the characters, Laure de Chateaubourg for all the biomes and some props, Robin Lagofen for monsters and props, and Paul Vérité for monster and props, and of course Thomas Chou for the 3D modeling.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big team. And some of the art you can see right behind me here, and we'll show some more stuff throughout the stream as well. The thing you can see is stayed pretty faithful to the Dead Cells art while having its own little touch, which is perfect for us. So let's just talk about how the project came to be. What's the story behind it? Why Dead Cells? Why a roguelike board game?
Sure. I wanted to do a roguelite for a long time now. So when I joined Christian at Scorpion Masqué, maybe it was this particular project maybe started in 2017, something like that. I wanted to do a roguelike game because I liked the genre, and at this time I was I used to play a lot to Rogue Legacy. It's
yeah,
and Dead Cells, and Dead Cells didn't exist at that time, and I wanted very much to emulate that kind of games, but at this moment it didn't. It wasn't a success. We didn't find a way to do it, and later we were working on Zombie Kids and Zombie Teens, so it's game with evolution components. We don't like to say legacy games because legacy is a very particular kind of game, so we prefer to say evolutive games, and we were using mechanics from video games to do this. So we were working on that. We were slowly building an expertise on evolutive board games. And later, or around this time, Dead Cells came up, and for me, it was a blast because when I played Dead Cells, it was everything I wanted to play in a video game, and so this old project of bringing the roguelite genre to board games, with Dead Cells, it came up again, and I started to work with Christian on a big document with what we wanted to have in this board game, how to emulate some kind of things. But at this time, it was only the evolutive part of the game. We didn't have an engine for it.
Yeah.
So we contacted the designers, the team Kaidama, so Antoine, Corentin, Théo, and Ludovic, to join us on this project because we needed the designers to work on that. We couldn't make that on our own. Sorry.
Okay.
And they were very, very interested, and they were also fan of Dead Cells. So this project, it wasn't called Dead Cells at this time. It was, I think, a rogue project because it was around the project of building a roguelike game. But a lot of inspiration of this project came from Dead Cells. And it happens that Theo knew someone who worked in Motion Twin, and he just emailed his friend, and we were very surprised that Motion Twin was very open to the idea to let us use the IP and work with us on this project. So this project that was emulate a roguelite became emulate Dead Cells.
Yeah.
And it was very, very cool because the project was so inspired by Dead Cells that it would have been weird to release it with another name or something more generic.
For sure, Dead Cells is one of the best roguelites out there, so of course it is. But it's true. But for us, we're always happy to have people do stuff based on Dead Cells as long as it's good. For us, there's no problem for us lending the IP out to someone if it's based on a good idea. And what we saw from you guys was, okay, it's not just a cash grab. It's not doing it just for the sake. You're not putting a game and just slapping Dead Cells on it. It's really based in a roguelike feeling. It's got a good setup. So yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, it's important to say that the project was not okay. We want to make money. Dead Cells is a good IP. Let's try to do something with that. It was the opposite. It was we want to do a roguelite. It has, in my opinion, it has not made in a good way before in board games. So how can we do that? And how can we do that through Dead Cells?
Yeah,
and
like you said, you've been thinking about it for like 7-8 years. Like before, so it definitely didn't come from Dead Cells in the beginning.
No, it's true, and I have to say it was very very cool to have you on board, because usually to work on an IP it's really hard. To get the IP to sign the contract, it can be very long, very tedious. You have to find the right person, and most of the time it just don't work. But here it was very quick, very easy. The Motion Twin and Evil Empire team were very enthusiastic, so it made us more confident about the project, and it was a huge boost for us and for the designer on our motivation to build the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a boost for us too, because we get a lot of people coming to us with half-baked ideas who you don't really find anything to back it up. So when you come with an idea which is basically fully formed already, saying, we've already been thinking about this for years, we've got based on Dead Cells, not based on Dead Cells, but took lots of inspiration from Dead Cells, and it's kind of not ready to go, but you've obviously thought very strongly about it, you've thought about it for a long time, it's well constructed, it's like, well, okay, let's go. Anyway, why not? So yeah, well, we were very happy to do the partnership, and we're happy that it's going well so far. I think so. We love it.
It's going very well. For now, the campaign, I think we are over 7,500 backers and over 900,000 Canadian dollars raised. So it's crazy. The first day when we I don't know, guys, how it was in your office. Did you watch the start of the campaign?
Oh, for sure. Everyone had like the second screen with that, like hitting F5, refreshing.
Here we had the giant screen with a projection of and everyone was here, and they were cheering when we reached the first.
Like ringing a bell.
when it was founded, everyone was, yeah! And after that, every time we had 1,000 backers, or everyone gather and cheer. So it was very very cool.
Yeah, we keep posting it on Slack every time it hits a little milestone. We're like, yes, another one up.
And it was so much work for everyone, because I gave the name of the designers and the illustrators, but all the internal team here worked so hard. It was very, very cool to have that, see the numbers going up and say, oh, okay, we are successful. We didn't do everything for nothing. The people are liking our idea and want to embark with us. So it was, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. So shall we talk a bit about Kickstarter, like why we've gone through Kickstarter? Because obviously Dead Cells is quite successful. Why wouldn't we just back it on our own? So if you'd like to just run through just a couple of minutes on why you wanted to go that route.
Yes, we are, like I said before, we are a traditional board game company. It's our first Kickstarter, and it's the first time we were doing something as big as that. I have the box here. It's a huge project, and no, you have one too. It's true. So it's a huge project. There are almost 500 cards in there, and like 150 tiles, and it's crazy. We needed to redo all the illustration of the game, because we didn't want to use the pixel art of the game to have something that is very more in the board game mood.
Yeah.
So, and it was very, very long development. So all of that, it cost a lot of money. It's important, because Kickstarter is that.
Yes.
And we were not confident, if we were just releasing the game in our normal network, that it could pay off and that we could just don't lose money with that, because as it's a big game, it's more expensive. Games that are more expensive usually sell less in the regular market. So if it was not for Kickstarter, we would just have abandoned that because we were not sure that it was possible to do it. So Kickstarter is that it's a way to make sure that a huge game like that is possible.
Yeah.
And after that, we'll release it in our normal network later. But right now, Kickstarter was the way to do it for the game to exist. And on top of that, it allows us to make a collector version with special components, with acrylic tokens, with double layer boards, and a lot of aesthetic content that would not have been possible in a retail version. So all the better for the game.
Yeah. And it's a bit difficult sometimes because in Kickstarter, there's so many video games being made into board games starting as campaigns. But I think what you touched upon before is that that's not really what we're doing. It's a concept which you've been nurturing for a while, and you want to bring it with the brand Dead Cells, which actually works really well, because I think it was the day before us there was Apex Legends and the day after us was Monster Hunter. I can't remember which way around it was.
Like
and it's quite a congested environment really for Kickstarter campaigns for board games, but we seem to be doing really well. So obviously there's an appetite out there for it, and I'm definitely excited to see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I hope that we are successful in proposing something different, something that hasn't been done before, and not just to, I don't know how to say it in English, but to plaquer la licence. How do you translate that?
I'm not sure. I've only been in France for 3 years, and I can't translate that. Plaquer la licence. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm a bit ashamed, to be honest.
I think that people understand the concept.
Okay, so what else have I got? So I guess we should just talk about what is Dead Cells, the roguelike game, because obviously it's a bit different to the video game. There's co-op. It's obviously not as fast-paced. It's a board game. So let's just run through a little bit about how Dead Cells has been translated into a board game, how it's different, how it works.
It's important to say that it's an adaptation. It's not exactly the same thing, because Dead Cells, the video game, is an action game, and it's really, really hard to translate that. The playing fast, you need agility, and it's not something that's it's easy to work with on a board game. But the part we could make to work is combat. Obviously, a lot of board games have combat and exploration, and we focused on that along with the evolutive part of the game. But it's really an adaptation, and a lot of things are different, and a lot of things are the same. So at the end, you will recognize Dead Cells, or the monsters, the weapons, the biomes, and the spirit of the game. And when we worked on the document before
some cards, if you can see them.
When we work on the document, when the designer started to develop the concept and the core engine of the game, we had a very little doc with the direction of the game, and it was the important point that we want to translate, like the fact that in Dead Cells you can be very powerful. I have this sentiment, this feeling of very, very powerful, but the minute after that,
that's it.
You have a big slap in your face.
Back to the start.
You're dead. So we have to keep that, and this build, when you go powerful, more powerful, wow, I'm so powerful, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes you just overconfident and you're being punished. So it's an example of things, of concepts we've analyzed from the video games we wanted to translate. So we had this list of points we wanted to have, and how can we do that in a board game without having exactly the same thing?
Yeah.
And obviously, and some things we tried didn't work and were changed. At the very beginning, there was a concept of real time that we dropped off very quickly because it wasn't working. It was very frustrating. At one point, we were navigating through all biomes before finding the bosses and the end bosses, but it was too long if you were doing all that, and it could be tedious in a board game to start over every time. So now you have clusters of biomes, and when you kill a boss, you open a new cluster, and after that you can choose where you start. So it's different than the video game where you always start in the prison. Now you can start, if you killed one bosses, you can start in the prison or in the stealth village.
Wait, what are you trying to say about Dead Cells, the video game? Yeah? That you always start in the same place? We should change that.
It's fun. It's fun and it's quick.
Yeah.
So it's working. Some aspects are working in the video games and will not work in the board games. So
yeah, for sure.
If people want exactly the same thing, they will be disappointed because it's not exactly the same thing. But I have to say that if we have tried to do the same thing, they will be disappointing also because it will not have worked.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work to translate that and transform the aspect and keep the original spirit of the game without having something that is exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've played probably over 100 hours of Dead Cells as part of my job, and I've seen the prototype, and I can say I think it's probably the closest you could get to Dead Cells, a video game, with it being on a tabletop, playing with a board game. And to be honest, you've kept a lot of the same elements with unlocking the rooms, the unlocked biomes, the enemies, how the weapons work. I feel it's actually been translated really well into a board game strategy. So for me, I know I have to say it, not have to say it because I'm from the Dead Cells team, but it does seem like a very faithful translation to a board game setting. So yeah, I can't wait for it to come out.
And we wanted to have some kind of experimentation. Like when you're playing Dead Cells, sometimes you're saying to yourself, okay, today I'm doing a survival build, or I want to try this kind of weapon, or this kind of thing I never tried, and it's different. And we wanted to have that in the board game. So you don't have to keep the same character every game. You don't have to play with the same people every game. For example, if you're playing with two other friends and this weekend you're alone, you can play a solo game, and you don't have to reset everything. It's just okay. And the week after you're four, okay, just bring a new friend and do that. If you want to change character, you want to change your cards. When you're between the runs, you can acquire new combat cards that goes into the decks. But before each run, you can just remove these cards and give them to another character or try something different. So we want for the people to experiment and not be stuck in the same build and just building this build. When you play a campaign game, you usually have one character and it goes stronger and stronger after each game, and you keep the same character and building it. Here we want to build the characters during the run, and in between the run, it's resetted, so you can just change everything and try something else.
Yeah, and that definitely reflects Dead Cells, the video game. That's the whole spirit of it. It's like, oh, okay, you died. That's fine. Just try something else and mix it up. Otherwise, it's going to get boring. So what else haven't we covered? We haven't covered. What can we get via the Kickstarter campaign? If people choose to back it, what can they get?
Okay. You have the base box that will be the same in retail. It's the full game with all the bosses and biomes and monsters and all that. And you have the collector box. In the collector box, you have a special. Okay, we have daily reveals. So at the beginning of the campaign, you add something, and every day we are adding stuff. So some stuff are for all the boxes, base boxes, box and collector box, and some stuff is just for the collector box. Yeah. So if you buy the collector box, you have two hidden character. And I have to say that about the hidden characters, the 2 hidden characters we revealed recently are Bobby and the drone. And this idea came from your team. Because we were discussing, hey, we want to have more than 4 characters, and your team said, hey, maybe one character could be the cartoony character, and one.
But everyone loves him, Bobby. Everyone always asks. Like we just added in the Bobby head for the game.
Yes.
Everyone just goes nuts for it because he's like the beloved version of the character.
In the last DLC, you can use this head on every.
In the last update, the last free update,
Last update, it's very cool. So we added this guy, and as we had a very different style than the DLC key art from the game, the other one, the drone, has a different style. Is more serious and more like the DLC character you can see on the key arts, and all the characters had been. Drawn by Nayad, is very, very talented, and he adapted his style for this hidden character. So he made the 4 normal character in the game, and after that, the 2 others with a different style to stick to the idea from the Motion Twin team to introduce these different aspects with all the different visuals. Because in Dead Cells, there is not just one way to represent the character. You have the key arts from the game, from the DLC, and you have the update, and there are a lot of different arts that are living, and it's the same universe. So we wanted to have a clin d'œil.
A little wink.
About that.
Actually, I think while you're talking about it, I'll just show a little bit of the daily reveals. I hope everyone can see that. So here on the Kickstarter page, we've got every day, actually, there's something new which gets revealed. How many days have we got left of the daily reveal, Manuel?
It will be over, it depends where you are in the world. It will be over at midnight the 1st of June, but at midnight for the west coast of USA. So if you are in Europe, it will be very early, the 2nd of June.
Okay, cool. So every day there's something new coming out. So as Manuel just said, that was the Drowned, and there's new companions, new enemies, anything. So that's there's still quite a lot to reveal.
And you made a little video for us for the companion reveals, because we added the Mushroom Boy.
Yeah, Mushroom Boy, my favorite.
Maybe if you show the campaign page, we can go to the main campaign, so we can see the daily reveal all together at the same place, and the collector component too. It's the campaign just yes, there. So if you go down a lot, because it's a long page.
It is. There's a lot. You sure you guys didn't go too overboard with this?
It's Kickstarter, so up here we have the collector pledge. You can see the miniature, the box. The miniature is only in the collector box, and you have the first player token that will be in metal.
Very nice.
It's a 3D render file. You have the 2-layered board there. You have after that talk boxes to neatly pack everything in the box, and a lot of different tokens, acrylic tokens. And lower in the page, you will have the daily reveals. So here what we revealed. So the Panchaku was the first one, as a legendary weapon. After that, we added some mechanics for the biomes, because we want every biome to have his own mechanic of exploration and new stuff. So we added something for the clock tower. Bobby was the hidden character. The companions.
Mushroom Boy.
Now we've added some monsters, like the knife thrower. It's a cool mechanic. It's not there at the beginning of the game, but when you buy too much upgrades, you will find some, and you will have to add it in the different biomes. So the games are getting harder. You have new monsters that are popping in the games when you buying too much upgrades. After that, we have aesthetic upgrade, like the UV spot on all the biomes. So you have glossy varnish on all biomes now to highlight some stuff, the routes you can take. You have more legendary weapons. I'm sure that everyone know. The drone, so it's the new character. And the new one was the Serenade. It's for the solo mode.
Yeah.
So you have now UV spot on Serenade 2. Speaking of Serenade, maybe I can just say a word about the solo mode, because as you said earlier, it's very different from the video game.
Yeah.
Because it's a cooperative game, but there is still a solo mode, and I'm very, very proud of it. I think the designers did a wonderful job. It's not just the same thing. You have literally a mechanic that is specially built for the solo mode. So you have Serenade that will accompany you. So you just have one character and Serenade, and it's like an automatic play. It's play on its own. So when you will play normally your cards, but Serenade has a random card that will decide their actions, and on top of this, the card that you will discard will activate some powers for Serenade. So if you want to freeze the monster in the next combat, you have to think during this combat what will be the last card that will discard to activate this power later. So I think it's very cool. And on top of that, they added a mechanic like when you are upgrading your own character, you use parchment, and you can give them to Serenade instead of you. And at one time, she will just transform, and you will flip the board on the black side, melee side, and she will be more powerful with new powers.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's not just you're not just playing on your own automatically, simple step by step. It adds an extra bit of spice.
Yeah,
a bit of spice to the game.
Yes,
that's cool.
And this way, if you play cooperatively, you can be interested to try it because it will be different. So maybe one run you will do that on your own, and the next one with your friends, and the next one on your own with Serenade and all that.
Yeah.
And during the campaign, we also have some add-ons. So it's one of the add-ons is a classic from Kickstarter. It's the sleeves. So if you want to protect, there are a lot of cards, and it can be tedious to buy exactly the good sleeve for the game and the right quantity. So you can just buy the add-on during the campaign. You will have exactly the good number of sleeves. In fact, you will have a little more just in case, and it will be the right size for all the cards of the game. And the other one is really, really cool. I will show you because that one you don't have it at the office right now.
I don't have it.
You will have.
I'm disappointed that we don't have it in the office. I want to look at it every day.
So I'm removing the background because if not, you will not be able to see it. But the other add-on is a huge collectible. It's a collectible figure made with our friends at Pure Arts.
Yeah, it's very cool. We're very happy with that as well. Like the representation of the beheaded is super cool.
So the original concept is from Nayad, and the 3D sculpt is from Thomas Chou, and the production and the technical aspects are from Pure Arts. Mm-hmm. They are based in Montreal, like us, so I'm very happy with this one.
No, us too. It's perfect. Love it.
It was not in the campaign when we were planning everything. It was not there. In fact, we only had the other miniature, this one. Yeah. But when we saw it, we wanted to do something else because the sculpt of the character was so good, and we had to find a way. And you guys, it was a discussion between, in fact, if I remember well, me and Béranger and the team. And I saw the 3D models from Thomas, and everyone was so happy. So we had to find something else, and this is how this add-on came to life, because it was really not something that was in our plan before, and it is not something that is usual for a board game. Usually, you only have add-ons that are playable content.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a gamble for us to offer that, because it's I think it's an unseen, maybe not. I think maybe one other campaign did that, but with a smaller collectible.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I guess it's one for the fans, really. The collectible. But I mean, who wouldn't want that? It's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah, it's the neon effect on the poison as well I love it.
Yeah, there are neon colors for the poison and the head of the beheaded. Mm-hmm. There is a metallic paint for the metallic parts. There is gloss varnish for the vials and everything that is sticky. It's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm trying to look at what we haven't covered yet. So adaptation yet? Expansions.
Yes.
So, what is the deal with expansions? Obviously, the Kickstarter doesn't say anything about that. It's just for the base game. How do you feel about expansions?
Yeah, people on Kickstarter are used to have a lot of expansion along with the base game. We didn't want to do that, because we wanted to focus on the base game, have it really, really well done and delivered on time. And I think for us to have 3 or more expansion during the campaign would have been the best way to fail, and to have something that is not finished or very, very late. So I know that it's not good for Kickstarter. Maybe people aren't backing because of that, or it's less money because we don't have a lot of expansion. But we are very, very focused on delivered something good for our first Kickstarter, and not to be overwhelmed with a lot of content. And it's the same for the biome in the game. As I've said, there is a lot of things in that box, and we did not wanted to make this too big, because after that the price would have been higher, and we wanted to have something that is affordable in his own category.
Yeah, I think it's very similar for the video game. People ask, why didn't you put more in this, or you wanted that? We could have done, but then it would have taken twice as long, and it would have been less polished. And it's a question of just time and resources. Yeah, I get it. It's better to focus on the main core, the subject, the game, and make it as good as it can be. And afterwards, if it's well received, okay, we can maybe think about doing something extra.
And there's still a lot of things in there, because as I said, it's almost 500 cards. It's maybe almost 80 different weapons in there. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And it took 9 months for the illustration. Only the illustration, it was from the beginning and the end of the illustration, it was 9 months. So if we have added too much, it can very, very quickly be overwhelming and hard to. But we thought about that, and we with the designer team, we made a game that could be easy. It's easy to plug things in there. So if the campaign is successful, and it seems that it is, and if people like the project once it is delivered, we can make expansion for after that. It's very easy to plug something. It's designed to do it. So if you guys like it, it will be cool for us, and we will make more expansions. If not, okay.
Tant pis.
But for now, it seems to be successful. So we'll finish all that, deliver it, and after that, we'll think about expansions.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Let's talk a little bit about the replayability, because obviously the roguelite is very centered around yeah, you'll die quite a lot, but then you'll come back to the start and you'll play again and again and again and again. I guess people might be worried that with a board game it might get stale without the dynamism of a video game. So maybe we can just talk a little bit about that and how that's addressed in the board game version.
Yeah, there is a lot of content to unlock. So, and as I've said before, we modified the concept of for the board game so that it's not always the same series of biomes that you will play. So you will be able to choose different routes in the cluster you are in. For example, if you are in the prison, the first one, at the beginning you can only go out through the sewers.
Yeah.
But when you will find the rune, you will be able to go out to the ramparts. So that's the first thing. It's when you find runes, you will change the way you will play, and you will be able to open new routes or to flip certain tiles that were locked. So it's not exactly the same thing when you're playing again. And after that, it's important to also to know that you have to unlock things. So if you want to go straight to the last boss, maybe you can try that, but it will be harder because maybe you will not as much powerful as you could be. And if you want to unlock everything, you have to find these things. You have secrets for certain legendary weapons and other secret stuff that will unlock only when you use certain cards that are challenges, that you say you have to go back in that biome, do that action, and that will unlock the secrets. You have things like the bells mechanic for the clockwork, when you have to take very particular routes that is harder, and to ring all the bells that will curse you to unlock the secrets. So there are a lot of things to do inside the game before you finish it, if I want to say. And it's the same as the video game. You cannot just beat the last boss and say, okay, I'm done. If you want to do and you have played, you are okay with it. And it's the same for video games. Some people will just go to the end of the king, beat it, and say, okay, I'm done, I've played enough. But if you want to play more, we want to offer more. So you have boss cells as in the video game. And when you kill the last boss, you will activate boss cells, and it will change the game. So you can play it again. It will be harder. You will have new things to unlock, and so on. So we are aiming just to beat the third boss. You will have to maybe play 20 to 25 runs, and if you want to unlock everything, then it will be more. So there are a lot of replayability there.
Yeah.
And also we have seen on the forum that some gamers wants to be able to reset the game and have a different experience. So if everything that I said before, with the possibility to explore different characters and all that, is not enough, if they want to replay the game, it's also possible. Because yes, the cards in the mutation decks are fixed in the order. So it will be always the same card at the same order, but it's very important for the power creep and everything that is that way. But you don't have to unlock the same card. I want to say, if you for the first time you play it and you've played the full campaign and you want to replay it, maybe the first time you tried some survival cards, you can now try maybe just brutality and unlock all the brutality cards and not the others, and the run will be different. You can change the characters, it will be a difference. So it's has a lot of replayability, I think.
Yeah. So you got boss cells, blueprints, unlocking new weapons. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Of blueprints and secrets. You have secrets that will be unlocked only if you reach certain condition, and for the last one, it will be harder to unlock.
So it's definitely not just 5 hours and done. There's a lot of stuff.
No.
Just like Dead Cells. Like if you want to do the deep dive, like be prepared to give up your life for a while. Okay.
you can do it.
Yeah. So, okay, we've covered solo mode, daily reveals. Is there anything else we can expect before the end of the campaign, which is in 7 days, 2nd of June?
Yeah. We still have every day a new daily unlock, so make sure to check regularly. There are a lot of things that are coming up. I don't want to spoil things, but we have things that are coming up that are not in the video game. So maybe that will be the surprise in the next days, or when we'll be near the end of the campaign. We'll have stuff that is not in the video game, but I don't want to say what it is.
Oh,
just
mystery.
come and see. And a lot of things for the collector version that will be even better, even more beautiful after that.
Okay, cool. And I should probably just cover a little bit about that. People ask, is anything in the board game going to come to the video game? Like the characters, like the immolated, like the poisoned. We say for the moment, no, but potentially in the future, maybe. We will see. And I can't say any more than that. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about, Manuel?
No, I don't think. I think we covered it pretty much.
I think so. We've done a pretty comprehensive overview of everything. So we can move on to the Q&A. We can see what people have been asking, if you're ready for that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me just go have a look in the chat. What have we got? Is there something French related in Dead Cells?
Indirectly, but it's hard to tell. It's too soon.
Because if anyone doesn't know, Scorpio Masqué, obviously you can tell from the name, but they're predominantly French speaking. They're from Montreal. So, and obviously Dead Cells was made in France, in Bordeaux. So there's a lot of French blood running through the veins of Dead Cells.
The designer team is Kaidama. They're all in France too. Oh no, Theo is in Belgium, but one of them is in Belgium.
Close enough.
The 3 others in France, and all the artists are in France also. So there are a lot of French people and people in Quebec involved too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a rarity that I'm British. I'm surrounded by a lot of French people. Is there a road path or timeline for the production of the game?
We have one right now. We are for the delivery of the game. We said it will be in September 2024. We took a lot of rooms and margin to be able to absorb any problem issue on the way. Because as you say, as you've seen, there are a lot of campaigns that had problems with shipping or production and all that. We want to be sure that we keep our promise, and we are working on finishing the game. Once the campaign will be done, we will have some time during the pledge manager to buckle up everything, finish the test, and balance everything. Right now, we are working with the factory. In fact, we have someone from the factory that is coming to the office this afternoon to show us some samples and to work with us. So we are working with the factory for the production right now. So we are on time, and we have a lot of rooms. We are very, very focused to deliver what we promise.
Cool. Let's just hope there's no COVID 2.0. Okay. Will there be a German version of the board game? But I guess we can just respond for all different languages.
Yes. Yeah. During the campaign, you can buy the game in English and in French. For the people who want to buy it in French, it's important to understand that Kickstarter does not allow it. So when you will back it during the Kickstarter campaign, after that, during the pledge manager, you will be able to choose the language and choose if you want the English or the French version. I'm saying it because I know that people that are not used to Kickstarter, they're a little bit startled by the fact that they are just pledging and cannot choose the language.
Yeah.
So it's a limitation from Kickstarter, but you will be able to choose the French language during the pledge manager. But right now, it's the only language we will do during the campaign.
Okay.
After that, it's possible that the retail version will be available in different languages, but I cannot say right now what they are because we are discussing with various distributors. So it will be later after we deliver the Kickstarter, and I cannot say what language it will be. It's highly probable that there is a German version that will come out at this time, but it will be later and not the collector edition. So if you want all the collector stuff, it has to be right now because it will not be possible to buy it in retails. It's only for crowdfunding. Same for the add-ons. So if you want the huge collectible figure, it has to be during the campaign because it will be a limited edition. We won't do it anymore. You will not be able to find it in retail. The only exception will be if we do not reach our MOQ, it's meaning the minimal quantity we have to print. So if we have to print a little bit more that stuff than what people have bought, we will probably sell them on a special dedicated website, but only if we don't reach the MOQ, and that's it.
Okay, thanks. I can answer this one. It's would you guys be adding characters from other games, which I guess is coming from the Everyone is Here updates, which we did, and there's going to be a no, because the licensing with all of that, and then the creation of assets and all that, no. Obviously, that's a dream, but it would be way too much hassle. So that's a categorical 100% no. What else have we got? It's all about the Tabletopia version.
Yes, it's a good point.
So I think
we forgot to talk about that.
We did.
There is a Tabletopia version. Right now, the Tabletopia version has only the first biome, so the Prisoner Quarter. We added the solo mode recently, though, so you can play solo. And very soon we'll communicate about that. We'll be able to offer more. We want to add the second biome and the first boss, so you can have a more complete experience within it. And we are polishing a little bit some stuff in there because Tabletopia is not very easy, user-friendly. Uh-huh. So we will try to help you guys to navigate around that. So it will be very soon. I don't want to promise a date, but very soon you will have a news in the Kickstarter campaign about that. More content to Tabletopia and some cues on how to navigate in the game.
Okay, cool. Someone's asking if they can order in India, but again, I think it's the same or similar to German.
If the question is, do we ship to India? I don't know. If you're not in the country that are listed on the page, you can send a message, and you will have your answer. The price, if we can deliver to your country, and the price. Right now, we listed only the major country that are susceptible to buy it. But if you are not in there, don't hesitate to message us. We'll answer. I have to say, I want to profit from that to say that we are working with La Boîte de Jeux for our Kickstarter campaign. They are doing all the logistic and the community management to answer all that kind of question during the campaign. So thanks a lot to them to help us on this, because as I've said before, it's the first Kickstarter campaign for Scorpion Masqué. We are very used to produce game and deliver game, but for the Kickstarter campaign, we wanted to have a partner that is very used to that very peculiar platform to help us with that. So it's La Boîte de Jeux, and if you send question like that, they will be able to answer to you very quickly.
Okay, cool, thanks. What material are the tuck boxes made out of?
It's I don't have the
that is a niche question.
Usually, I don't know if it's cardboard or another kind of very thick paper, but it's thick. It's cardboard usually.
Okay. Here's a good question. Will there be a plastic figurine of the hidden characters? The drowned?
No. No, it's there. There is only one miniature in there, and it's the group with the 4 main characters. We don't have miniatures for the hidden characters.
Okay. So there's one. Where can we pre-order it? But that's Kickstarter.
Yeah, Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. Is the challenge rift mechanic going to be in the board game?
Challenge rift mechanic?
The where you find the little icon and you open it up and you have to make it through like a little section of traps.
No, we have the cursed chest, but not the challenge rift. But you have the cursed chest, and it's very fun because cursed chests are not always at the same place. So you will have to choose carefully your path, because if you choose a path with a cursed chest, you will have to open it. And once you open it, you never know what will happen.
Actually, because there's the... who else from the game is in, Dave? We've got the shopkeeper and we've got the collector, I think, in game as well.
Yeah, the shopkeeper and his alternate version, the cook, and the collector. Yeah. And the Gillen is there too.
Oh, of course. How could I forget? And that's it, I think, for questions. So, is there anything else you think that we've forgotten or needs to be said? I think we've covered everything.
I think. No, I think that's it. Okay,
cool. But we can finish there then, I guess. That's already an hour, so an hour covering a board game, I think that's probably enough.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks very much for joining me. And thanks for all your work on the Kickstarter, on the board game, or on everything.
And thank you for having me, and thank you for all the support from Motion Twin and Evil Empire. It's very much appreciated.
But no worries. Well, thanks very much, and
thank you.
Have a great ride Friday and a good weekend. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.